I'm reaching out here because I need to unload something that's been haunting me for weeks. Just so I'm clear, all of this happened almost exactly a year ago. I changed up the names, but I'm not sure if it will be enough to hide my identity. It's been a rough time, and I'm hoping that sharing my story here might help me make sense of everything. It's been a surreal, almost terrifying experience that I can't seem to shake off. Here's my story, as best as I can put it into words. August started off like any other year. I've always loved this month. It's warm, the days are long, and there's a kind of magic in the air that makes me feel alive. My birthday is on August 1st, and I'd been looking forward to it for months. I planned a small get-together with a few close friends and Tom, my partner of 3 years. I was excited about the evening, a chance to celebrate and make some happy memories. But as the day approached, I began to notice some odd behaviour from Tom. He was more distant, his texts were brief, and he seemed preoccupied. I brushed it off initially, thinking maybe he was just busy with work. I didn't want to let it ruin my birthday, so I focused on the plans I had made. On the evening of my birthday, I had everything set up for our movie marathon. I had decorated the living room with fairy lights and bought all my favourite snacks. Tom arrived home just before our friends did, and he seemed a bit off, but not noticeably so. We laughed and joked as the night went on, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right. After our friends left, Tom and I settled on the couch to watch a movie. That's when I noticed his phone lighting up with notifications. He had been getting messages all night, and each time he checked his phone, he seemed more distracted. Finally, I saw a message from someone named Jess. The text read, "Can't wait to see you tonight." My heart dropped. I tried to stay calm and not let my emotions take over, but it was like a punch to the gut. Tom's phone buzzed again, and I saw another message from Jess. "Are you coming soon? I miss you." My mind raced, trying to process what I was seeing. I wanted to confront Tom, but I didn't want to make a scene on my birthday. I waited until he was out of the room and checked his phone for myself. I saw a string of messages between him and Jess that seemed more personal and intimate than anything you'd expect from a casual acquaintance. My heart was pounding, and I felt like I was going to be sick. When Tom came back, I tried to act normal, but the evening was ruined for me. I could barely focus on the movie or enjoy the snacks I had prepared. I felt like I was trapped in a bad dream, unable to escape the sinking feeling of betrayal. The days following my birthday were honestly a blur. I tried to confront Tom about the messages, but he brushed it off, saying Jess was just a friend from work. He was evasive and defensive, and his explanations felt hollow. I wanted to believe him, but the evidence was overwhelming. By August 5th, things had started to escalate. The news was full of reports about a new disease outbreak, monkeypox. At first, I didn't pay much attention, but as the reports became more frequent and the images more graphic, my anxiety grew. I started noticing every little itch or bump on my skin, convinced that I was showing symptoms of the disease. It didn't help that Tom seemed more distant and preoccupied, adding to my feelings of unease. Tom kept leaving for work emergencies, and I was left alone in the house, spiralling into paranoia. The heat was oppressive, making it hard to breathe. I spent hours on end reading about monkeypox, obsessively checking for any signs of infection on my own skin. Each new symptom reported in the news seemed like a personal threat, and I felt like I was living in a nightmare. August 12th was a particularly dark day. Tom was out again, and I was home alone. I could hear the clock ticking loudly, each second dragging on as I waited for him to come back. The house was silent, except for the occasional hum of the air conditioner, which did little to alleviate the stifling heat. My mind was racing, and the anxiety of possibly contracting monkeypox was consuming me. I'd developed a rash that I was convinced was a sign of the disease. It started as small red bumps that had spread and worsened over time. I couldn't stop myself from scratching, and the more I scratched, the more I worried that I was making things worse. I was terrified to go outside or see anyone. The fear of infection kept me locked away in my own home, and the emotional strain was nearly as debilitating as the physical symptoms. Tom's visits home were becoming increasingly strained. Every time he came back, I felt a wave of dread and anger. He tried to be helpful, bringing me soup, asking how I was feeling, but his presence only reminded me of the betrayal I felt. It was like being trapped in a constant state of fear and hurt, with no escape. The end for now. Subscribe for part 2.
Special thanks to you all for finishing the video. I hope the pillow is cold on both sides of the bed.